So you bought Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, or you've had Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, and you just really can't get a leg up in the competitive scene. Playing Combat League, playing even custom online matches, you're trying to figure out those few things that's going to take you a little bit further in your gameplay to improve it, and eventually start winning all of those Combat League sets against all of those Shiva Stompers. Well, I got some tips today. 10 tips that's going to improve your gameplay if you follow them correctly. To give a little background, I was a former Injustice 2 pro. I wasn't one of the big names, but I was a player on a team. I did really well, and I was a very good Firestorm. In MK11, I've competed in a few tournaments and actually won a couple, got into the invitationals of those tournaments. So I wanted to actually write down these 10 tips that can help people improve, because these are some of the things that have leveled up my gameplay in MK11. And these are some of the things that in every fighting game you should strive to do. These are not only Mortal Kombat tips. You can take these tips from MK11 Ultimate and you can use them in Tekken, you can use them in Street Fighter, minus the game mechanic tips. But we're going to go ahead and jump into the first tip. So tip number 1, and this should be the first tip on every tip list for new players coming into a fighting game. Use the lab. The lab is the practice arena. You can take whatever characters you want into the practice arena in games like Mortal Kombat that are very, very well designed. They have frame data laid out, they have all of the moves laid out, they have pretty much everything that you can need. You can set the AI to do specific things, you can set your character to do specific things, you can make the AI block, you can record what you want the AI to do. The lab is one of the best places to actually be if you're trying to improve your game. There is a lot of skill that comes from actually playing online, a lot of learning that actually comes from playing other players, but to get to the point where you're actually even going to be able to learn from playing those other players, you really need to get the basics of the video game, of the fighting game, down in the practice arena. Moving on to tip number 2, find a character that suits your gameplay, whether it's rushdown, zoning, neutral, fast, slow, long range, short range, mix up, pressure. Find the character that suits you. I've had this problem in a couple of fighting games that I played, especially when I first started fighting games. I could not find a character that fit how I wanted to play the game. And this was more existent in Mortal Kombat 11. I just could not find my character. I'm a more mix-up setup character. If I can find a character that has mix-ups and setups, I'm good to go. That's where I feel at home. You want to find that character in that fighting game that feels like home to you. It just feels natural when you're playing the character. For me, that character was Jackie. Don't be afraid to play whatever character you want, and that's going to move us into tip 3. Tip 3 is don't pay attention to tier lists. Now, there are some characters in every fighting game that are obviously without being spoken. They are the top characters in the game. In MK11 right now, pre-patch MK11 Ultimate, it is Joker, Jackie, Cetrion, Liu Kang, and Johnny Cage. These characters are not leagues above the others, but very obviously the best in the game. But as far as the other tier lists, you're going to see from one tier list to the other, Garrus could be A tier or S tier, and then you move on to someone else's tier list and Garrus is in F tier. You never want to believe tier lists, because most of the people that get on YouTube or get on their Twitch account and make these tier lists have not put enough time into the game in the right way to actually determine a tier list. Most tier lists are made, at least accurate tier lists are made by playing first to 100s with each character in each matchup. That's really the only way that you can determine an accurate tier list. These extremely long sets with different characters with two very, very competent players. So, tier list from Jimmy down the road and tier list from Johnny up the fucking state, they don't matter. Don't pay attention to tier lists. Don't base who you play off of a tier list. Tip number 4, and these next few tips do play into that first tip. Most of these tips play into the lab. Tip number 4 is master your combos. What moves start combos, what strings are best for punishing into combos, master your combos, and hit conversions into combos. You always want to know what your combo starters are. Whether you have an overhead to start a combo, whether you have a mid to start a combo, whether your mid is your best combo starter, whether your low is your best combo starter, what is the best, and that is usually based on frame data, which we'll get to. But your best punish, you want to learn what that is, you want to learn what moves to actually use in your combos to get the maximum amount of damage, or if you would want to end that combo in a setup. etc. There's so many different things that go into combos, and it's not just button pressy look cool. There's a lot that goes into it. How you want to start them, how you want to end them, what does the most damage inside of those combos. Tip number 5 is definitely learn frame data. A lot of people shy away from frame data because frame data is a lot of math. It's a lot of numbers, it's a lot of learning. Take it from a person who hates math, who was never good at math. Frame data is very, very hard to learn, but it is one of the most beneficial things that you can learn in a fighting game. To get to that really, really good level, it is almost required. I mean, there are the rare cases of people who are like, man, I don't know frame data whatsoever, and they do extremely well. But you ask any of the top 16 players in any fighting game at this point in time, whether it's Tekken, whether it's Street Fighter, Dragon Ball, or Mortal Kombat, they all know frame data inside and out. In my opinion, in any fighting game, along with the lab, frame data is almost like right there with the lab for learning to get better. Frame data is almost essential to learn. Tip number 6 also goes into practice. Don't be scared to learn advanced game mechanics like in Mortal Kombat 11, flawless block, the wake up system, crushing blows, fatal blows, everything that goes into that. I was someone who actually did not learn how to flawless block until literally last week. Flawless blocking did not seem important to me until I got higher up in the levels, and I was getting beat because every character that I would play, everybody else would know how to flawless block, and I'd just get flawless blocked. Flawless block, while it doesn't seem that important in Mortal Kombat 11, is actually very important. If you know how to flawless block, some of the characters that are going to bully you the most in Combat League or in online matches become not non-existent, but they become a lot easier to go up against once you learn how to flawless block some of the strings that would usually bully you in the corner or in mid-screen. The wake up system, there's a lot to it. You have, I believe, 13 different options off of wake up, whether it be up 2, up 3, roll left, roll right, jump on wake up, jump back on wake up, jump forward on wake up, delay wake up, press buttons on wake up. There's a lot there. Crushing blows also go into it. Crushing blows, down to crushing blow is one of the best ways to punish anyone who's just throwing out high moves. They're also a great way to scare your opponent, because if you load up one of your crushing blows, they're going to know that you have that 30 plus damage crushing blow loaded up, and depending on the health bars, can kill them immediately. Fatal blows are also another very good thing to learn how to use and not just throw out on wake up. Don't get me wrong, rollback fatal blow on wake up hits 99.9% of the time, but learning how to actually save that fatal blow, use it in combos, or even using it as a punish to keep yourself safe with some characters. I know fatal blows got nerfed in MK Ultimate, but you can still use them to your advantage if you save them. Don't always rely on a fatal blow wake up to win a match, because it does have startup frames. I believe it has 8 frames of startup, so you can get hit out of it within 8 frames. So use your fatal blows smart. Learn these game mechanics. Tip number 7 is don't mash. A lot of people, especially when you get those up close encounters, you're right in the face of your opponent. You guys are on maybe low health, 25% health. Your first instinct is going to be smash the hell out of down 1, smash the hell out of down 3, smash those buttons. Don't mash your buttons. Play it safe, play it calm, let the opponent mess up, and when they down 1, down 3, don't down 1, down 3 back. When they down 1 or down 3 now, it is now your turn in this new update. If they press down 1 or down 3, you block it, it is your turn. You can press buttons. Just make sure you learn the frame data and learn which buttons to press when they do press down 1 or down 3. Relying on down 1 and down 3, especially off jump ins and everything else, is one of the worst things that you can do, especially now with the down 1, down 3 nerf, because it's just going to get you hit. It's just going to be a poking war that if the other person knows how not to mash, they're going to win. So do not mash. That is one of the worst things you can do in a fighting game. The next tip is learn how to anti-air. Learning how to anti-air is going to save your ass in so many situations, especially in Mortal Kombat 11, because everybody likes to jump. Everybody is always jumping 24/7, and don't get me wrong, there are some characters that in this game are extremely hard to anti-air, like Devora, but learning how to anti-air will save you. Some characters have really good down 3 anti-airs, some characters have really good down 4 anti-airs, some characters have amazing down 2 anti-airs. Some characters like Liu Kang and Johnny Cage, you can press standing 1 when you see someone jump and anti-air them that way into a full combo. But learn which works for you the best. You can even flawless block a jump. if you get the timing down right, you can flawless block a jump into an up 2 and get a full combo for them jumping. It does use a bar of offensive and defensive meter, but it's a great way to enforce that fear of not letting them jump and keeping them grounded. Tip number 9, learn how to tech grabs. When I first started playing MK11, 50-50 grabs ripped me a new ass in Combat League and even playing with my friends. Learning how to tech grabs was one of the hardest things that I had to do in this game because it is a 50-50, and what a 50-50 is it could go either way. It could go one way or another. You have to press one button or another, and that really got me. I could not learn how to do it, and it got me killed a lot. So learning how to tech grabs is another one of the best things that you can do, watching out for those grab animations and which ones are which. It still is a guessing game, it still is a 50-50, but you will get a lot further once you learn how to tech the grabs. And tip number 10, our best tip, and a tip that I don't hear a lot in these tip videos for new players, is don't be afraid of losing. You're only going to get better by losing. Keep going. Even if you lose 200 games in a row, take what was making you lose, whether it was a character, not understanding your character or that character, take that and go into the lab. Learn how to get around it. Learn how to counter it. Never be scared of losing. It will make you better. I remember when I was learning how to play Injustice 2, I got lucky, and I did have a very good player teach me how to play Injustice 2. A player who is still very good to this day and playing in top 8s. He really taught me the basic mechanics and the advanced mechanics of fighting games. I got lucky. But what I had to get over, what he would tell me I had to get over, and stop getting so mad and stop playing with him. You cannot be afraid of losing. You're going to get your ass beat. You're going to lose. What you should be doing is avidly seeking out those players who are going to beat your ass, because once you play them so much, you learn by losing. That's what I've always said. That's what has always been the case for me, and I've seen a lot of other players. You learn by losing. You take what makes you lose, and especially like if you use the lab, you take what is making you lose, you acknowledge and you realize what's making you lose, take that into the lab and learn how to counter it, learn how to get around it, and you will improve. The tip number 1 and tip 10 really do go into each other. If you use those two together, if you're not afraid of losing, if you avidly seek out players who are going to beat your ass and get long ass sex with them, you will become a better fighting game player. And a little bonus tip before we go, learn annotations for fighting games, like what square, X, triangle, and circle is, whether it's 1, 2, 3, or 4, because it is universal through all different controllers between Xbox and PlayStation. Learn different fighting game terms like rushdown, zoning, neutral. Learn pretty much all the annotations, 50-50s, everything like that, every fighting game term. That will go a long way too. So when you're talking to those better players and they're telling you what's this, what's that, you understand what they're saying. So look up some fighting game mechanics. I know there's a really good website out there. I don't have it written down. I'm unprofessional, but check into that because it is a really good website. But those are my tips. These tips for new players. I know there's going to be a surge of new players coming into Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. Christmas is getting close, so there's going to be a lot of new players in general. PS5 came out, so again, there's going to be more players there. So I wanted to make this new player best tips video for you guys. So hopefully, even if you are not a new player and you've just been playing and you can't figure out what you're doing wrong and you just need some tips, hopefully this will help you too. I'm sorry, like, I'm talking pre-editing and everything else. I don't know if I'm going to put gameplay on this or I'm just going to let trailers run, because it is very, very easy to get demonetized using Mortal Kombat 11 gameplay. For some reason, the YouTube algorithm seeks that shit out, but it's a lot more lenient on trailers. So if I don't have gameplay showing you guys like what I'm talking about, I really do apologize for that. I'm working on figuring out how to get around it, because no matter how much I edit it, I still get demonetized, and that's no buenas for anyone. But I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like more videos like these, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on, like the video, and leave me a comment down below. Leave me a comment down below if you're going to try any of these out. Which ones you're looking forward to trying out. If I missed anything, any tips that would have went a long way to helping new players, let me know in the comments down below. I do appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. My name is Tootin, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.